A couple months ago, I tier listed all of my games, and I realized that when I was ranking some of them in the A tier, I didn't really explain too much why. So, I've given the games a lot more thought, rearranged actually some of the rankings in my head, so here are the top 10 games as of August 25th, 2020. Now that's important because this list is going to change throughout the years as I play more games, try out new stuff, update my preferences. Let's get into it. Okay, number 10, Chaos in the Old World. And of course, I gotta get you all the games to put them on frame. So Chaos in the Old World, yes, here it is, by Eric Lang. Chaos is just one of those dudes on a map games that has a great balance of asymmetry, theme, and dice rolling. You all play as demons trying to bring the humans of the Warhammer universe to ruination, dropping corruption to destroy regions and score points. Oh yeah, and then check that out, when you play the game, that's supposed to be like human skin you're playing on, so that's pretty groovy. So there's 4 demon god factions that all fundamentally work in the same way, but get their bonuses differently with different strengths. But the game isn't too hard to learn, especially with the straightforward faction called Khorne, which essentially just wants to run around and kill as many things as possible for the blood god. There's also these really fun dials that tick up as players achieve their demon goals, and they can win through that by just ticking to the end, or they can win by getting enough points. Unfortunately guys, this game is out of print, so it's going to be kind of hard to snag. I was lucky enough to get the Horned Rat expansion, which adds another player and another faction, which adds so much replayability to a game that's already so replayable. Man, I really lucked out there. Chaos just has this fun balancing act of each demon trying to do what's right for them, but also keeping an eye on the other demons to make sure they don't get too strong in what they want to do. I love how the human skin board just gets increasingly tighter as the human kingdoms fall to ruination under all your demonic corruption. What this is doing in gameplay is that the map is getting more crowded with everyone's little demonic armies, and there's going to be a lot of bloodshed and super combo-y swingy turns in the late game. If I were to knock it, I would say that it probably runs a little too long and the bookkeeping isn't always the easiest. So, I mean, those kind of go hand in hand, but it makes the game sometimes around 2.5 to 3 hours, which is about like an hour to an hour and a half longer than I would like. Okay, let's move on to number 9. Number 9 for me will be Sangwasha. Sangwasha. Yeah, Three Kingdoms Kill, loosely translated. Sangwasha is a card game where players with hidden identities are trying to fight against a known king. Okay, yep. It's basically a ripoff of Bang, the card game. So you got a sheriff, or I guess in this case a king, and he's got his hidden deputies, hidden outlaws, and the hidden renegades. Outlaws are trying to kill the king, the deputies are trying to protect the king, and the renegade just wants to kill everyone else. So what makes Sangwasha leap above Bang the card game is that the characters have quite a bit of a nuance. I also have an expansion, and now I feel like the diversity of player powers is insane. And because of the fact that players' motives are all hidden in the beginning, you can do some really fun mind games, all in a setting where combos and player power abuse is promoted. Now I love my card games and the Romance of the Three Kingdoms theme, so this is kind of just like a natural knockout of the park for me. Like I get to play or against the awesome heroes like Liu Bei, Cao Cao, or even Zhang Fei. I don't know if I'm getting the accent right, I'm terrible at Chinese. And they really do play true to how they're depicted in the lore. Now this is not always the most balanced per se, but gameplay is generally short and lighthearted, so I'm always down to just knock it around in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So let's get on to number 8. Number 8 will be Last Word. Whoa, that's a game not many people have heard of, yeah. So Last Word, the game, an uproarious race to have the final say. Now you're probably going like, wait, what the hell is this game? So yeah, this is the only party game of mine to sneak on this list, and its success with how fun it is continues to surprise me. The thing about Last Word is that its mechanics are just so simple, but downright addicting. All that happens is that you have 2 cards live at the same time. You have a category and a letter to make a first word. One person starts the round that fulfills these 2 cards, you press the timer, and then now everyone is just yelling out words that match this, what is this? Male singers are, Shoot, I don't know. R. Kelly. Okay, so yeah, then that goes off, and now the round is over, and I would win because I had the last word. So I can play last word with Daniel and company, and we can just yell the most obscene, ridiculous stuff and try to get away with it. Or I could play it with family as an incredibly easy to learn, sociable brain burner that works with every player count and even works with teams. Something about just coming out of words from nowhere just makes everyone so hyped when you or someone else just has that genius word to win the round. I feel like the more I play last word, the more I appreciate it with its incredible skill ceiling and amazing accessibility. Okay, my number 7 is Takanoko. Okay, yeah, I know in my tier list video I did list this as an S. Haha, Takanoko, Anton Bauza. It's gonna be an S. Yep, the second S game. But I mean, there's still really nothing wrong with it in my opinion, but the game has probably just cooled down a little for me. Hey, I mean, it still made this top 10 and I really still like Takanoko. In this shorter game, everyone is working to please the Japanese emperor in managing his bamboo garden. But there's a darn panda running around that you also have to account for. I think that Takanoko is such an excellent, clean design that provides more strategy than the theme initially reveals, and man, like, this theme is so cute. Like, the panda is so adorable in this game. Moving around is just really fun. If I were to knock the game, I would say that the 3D bamboo pieces like have a tendency to sometimes fall over, but I mean, that's really it. I just feel so comfortable having Takanoko in my collection, but also just bringing it to a friend's house for a quick 45 minutes because it's so easy to learn, but also I know people will be very receptive to having that darn panda just running around and eating that bamboo in this hilariously cute game. So now it's time for number 6. Now number 6 for me is gonna be Dominion. Yes, Dominion. So this is my first and favorite deck builder of all time. Dominion is really simple. You're all managing your own kingdom, which is a deck of cards, and you also want to have the most point cards at the end of the game. Now, when I got this game in high school, I was like super confused coming from traditional trading card games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. So I was like, wait, what? We're playing this game and we're adding cards to our deck? And then what? We're spending money to buy more cards? But then it just clicked in my third game. And I've played this core set of Dominion countless times. And while I've probably seen every single combination of card possible in this first edition, I still get entertained whipping it out, somehow. I just like Dominion that much. Okay, so I'm not crazy, and admittedly, Dominion would not be on this list without expansions, and I've played Alchemy and Prosperity multiple times in college, and yeah, that really solidified the Dominion mechanics for me. There's something just so satisfying about this game being extremely simple, but you can do so many sick plays. Especially with the expansions, Prosperity is really fun. As I said before, this is a game that I could probably just like play forever with the expansions, so yeah, I'll be trying those out real soon. Dominion Intrigue, I'm coming for you. So now it is time for number 5. We're halfway there. So this next game has a lot of hyperbole surrounding it. I've heard stuff like masterpiece, a class of its own, the best tile laying game ever. What is this game? This is Tigress and Euphrates. This tile-driven game features players building civilizations across ancient Mesopotamia, using 4 different tiles to build, fight, and collect victory points. What ties into this game actually being amazing is that your score at the end of the game is the number of points in your weakest category. So you always gotta be thinking about how to diversify your game state. The skill ceiling for Tigress and Euphrates is just through the roof. Man, like the game is easy to learn, but it's actually kind of too open-ended for newcomers because there's just a lot going on, but the game is so awesome that it'll trigger a lot of curiosity. Like, I'm listing this as number 5, and with my playthroughs, I feel like I've barely even just scratched the surface of all the depth that's within Tigress and Euphrates. What I love in Tigress and Euphrates is that you're constantly trying to make something from what seems to be very little. But as you just manipulate the board a tiny little bit and just catch your opponents off guard, the game can just flip on its head. And the theme is incredibly tied into the gameplay. You feel like you're just creating a mighty civilization from just scraps of farmers and traders. There's revolts, and then all sorts of wars ranging from minuscule to board shattering. So unfortunately, my friends aren't as much into the theme as I am, so I haven't gotten to play it as much as I want, which, that's such a shame, because this Babylonian theme, man, I think it's really epic. And I would actually consider this game to feel a lot like a 4X in many regards. Like, sure, technically you're not exploring, but you do the expanding, exploiting, and exterminating for sure. So the fact that this game can do that in like an hour to an hour and a half from anywhere from 2 to 4 players, because it scales insanely well, is, whew, man, like, Tigress and Euphrates is a truly sophisticated classic for me. Okay, so now we're getting on to number 4. Number 4! When I was young, my friend at a sleepover once said, "You gotta try this out, oh my god, it's free right now, download it." And this was Sid Meier's A Civilization Revolution. Like, my friend and I had so much fun together, and we weren't even playing the same game. When I got older, I found out that this Civ was attached to a bigger IP, and I played Civ 4 for a bit, and I just really wanted that experience with some friends. And I mean, yeah, I could do that on LAN or like via internet, but that would take 12 hours, and come on, like, who has time for that? Like, what? So when I discovered that this exact same IP was adapted to a board game, I had to try it out. This is Kevin Wilson's adaptation of Sid Meier's A Civilization. Like, wow, when I first played this game, like the first couple times, every aspect about it just blew me out of the water. Okay, well, the combat's not the best, but hey, I bought the expansions to fix that, so that's not really too much of a problem anymore. This is a really faithful clone of the Sid franchise on PC, where players will choose a faction, raise their civilization, and win in one of multiple ways. There's a super satisfying technology pyramid in this game, exploring the board, and even different governments. You start with the capital, expand up to 3 cities, which can all take actions every turn, and just watch your options snowball out of control. The end of this game just always feels like such a natural endpoint, and is always ridiculously tense. Players upgrade to airplanes and are zooming across the map, or there's even technology that can just teleport you across the map. Of course, it's Civilization, so you got your nukes, and those are great to just blow up your enemy cities. On those last couple turns, it always feels like there's 1 or 2 other players that are just so close to winning, but they're all winning in different ways, so you have to think about that and strategize about that while also trying to complete your own victory condition. Super fun. And now with these, you got even more factions, so there's like a bajillion now, and these all specialize in different ways, which makes gameplay always refreshing if you want to revisit with a different faction. Man, I love this game, and it doesn't take insanely long for being an epic Civ game. The progression is really fast, and getting technologies in these Civ games just never gets old. The expansions fix the combat just enough for me, and even add some really cool things like investments and ancient relics like finding Atlantis or Confucius's temple. Oh man, Civilization, whew, this is a thematic knockout of the park for me. Now it's time for number 3. Number 3 on the list. Let me go grab it. Now, if you want a thematic, spooky night with your friends, look no further than Mansions of Madness. This Lovecraft-themed game uses a companion app to essentially act as a dungeon master, while your adventuring group heads into spooky settings like old towns and mansions to solve some sort of arcane mystery. There's fighting unique monsters using the app to handle flavor text, all sorts of fun usability with items, and players going insane from seeing horrors and then getting new secret victory conditions. Daniel and I both love Lovecraft, so this accessibility with the app, with all these great stories you can have, just made Mansions of Madness 2nd edition the go-to Lovecraft game. The time length depends on which scenario you choose, which makes planning around it super easy. I honestly think the best part of the game is when people actually do go insane. and you can see them setting fires on the board and starting to blabber nonsense, while the rest of the players scramble to actually solve the mystery. The memories from this game are so amazing with almost no setup required. You really can't go wrong just trying this one out. It is expensive and doesn't have the greatest replayability, but I have nothing for adoration for this game that just says, hey, do you like Lovecraft? Well, grab some friends and just hop right in. I got you covered. I just cannot recommend playing this one enough, especially to people new to the hobby. Okay, so now it's time for number 2. So I just mentioned Civilization. Now, that's a game I'd really only want to play with 4 players. It can play with 5, but I don't think it's that good with 5. What about if I want to play a game that's really epic with 6 players? Well, you might have guessed it by now. This is the most epic definitive space opera game. This is Twilight Imperium 4th edition. Oh man, it's the big mama of space games. So Twilight Imperium 4, or TI4, works like this. Everyone plays as a faction who is competing over the imperial throne of the universe, moving through systems with warships, improving their factions, and making all sorts of diplomatic deals with trading and non-binding and binding agreements. It doesn't have the popular IP of Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Dune, or so and so forth, but its appeal just draws in literally everyone that I've played it with. I tell them, look, I know it's going to be kind of long, but once we teach you how to play, which isn't that hard, you're going to have such a great time. And they look at this box cover and be like, okay, you know what? I'm down. So then we sit them down and we go through the amazing player aids and pretty simple turn structure, and they go, wow, you know what? Hell, this game is pretty darn good. Can we play again? Can we play like next week? And of course, hell yeah, I'm going to play with them because there's so many cool stuff. There's so many cool things about this game, and the alien factions, I just want to keep playing this game over and over again to try out all the different alien factions, and there's just so many entertaining board states that arise. It's so cool. It's so cool. If you're even the tiny bit interested in having an epic with a capital E experience of the fate of the universe being tossed around, intergalactic politics, war machines, and insane alien powers, check out TI4. Like, you can't go wrong. This is such a cool game. And look at this. Like, look at how cool that box art looks. Like, man, just completes a collection in my opinion. So we have gotten to the end of this top 10. So the number 1 game for me is going to be, wait, what the hell? What's that doing there? The number 1 game for me is going to be Battlestar Galactica. Yes, I mean, this should come as really not too big of a surprise if you're familiar with this channel. I mean, look, there's like a BSG poster right behind me. Can you see it? Yeah. Yep, I know that this game is just really hard to find now that it's out of print, and I'm probably sitting on, I don't know, like $2,000 on cardboard, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, this game was just so good in high school that I immediately caved and bought all the expansions, which worked out pretty well. So Battlestar Galactica is an adaptation of the 2000s TV series where the humans are trying to find Earth while running away from these robots called Cylons. The thing is, some of the Cylons are actually disguised as humans on Battlestar herself, so the paranoia starts to run rampant. In the game itself, some players are hidden traitors, the rest are humans, trying to make enough FTL jumps to get to Earth, while the hidden Cylons are doing their best to make sure the humans turn on each other, sabotage relief efforts, and to reveal themselves and kill everyone when the time is right. I'm of course highly biased towards the IP because I have such fond memories of just watching the show when younger, and this game, the board game, does the show sweet justice. It's that awesome feeling where you can play as every single character from one of your favorite shows, do all the cool voices, and then just imagine them running down through the metal halls of Galactica herself. But then all the characters have abilities and once per games that all make complete sense? The amount of thrill I got from just launching nukes or declaring martial law to be admiral and president, or just airlocking the dirty Cylon when you finally find him, has just cemented BSG as a number 1 for me. I have been so fortunate to have so many awesome friends who also wanted to play this game, and we've had some timeless memories of escaping from the clutches of the Cylon just as they start to encircle the ship, or just seeing thousands of civilians get mercilessly slaughtered for a Cylon victory. Battlestar Galactica, currently my favorite game of all time as of August 25th, 2020. This list is very subject to change because I'll probably play a lot more games. Keep you guys updated. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put a summary of all the top 10 games somewhere in the corner so you can go ahead and look at that. Yeah, man, it's really heavy and I don't know if that's in frame, but yeah, here are the top 10 games. If you have any questions about these games, I'd love to answer because I just love talking about these games. They're super fun. As always, we'd like to thank our patrons for making videos like this possible. We got John S., Manuel G., Bryant C., Clifford H., Aaron W., Max B., and Boyra. And then we got two mad lads of cardboard. We got ZL and Jeff L. Thank you guys. For the rest of you guys out there, we got a Patreon link below and also a donation box if you want to make a one-time donation to help us out. Subscribe for more board game content. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.